The purpose of this video is to explore the Townscape of Oxford using an analysis method based on townscape concepts of serial vision from Gordon Cullen's book The Concise Townscape, published in 1961. To begin this project, it is first important to identify the route through Oxford that I will be analysing the townscape of. This will consist of starting off on Cat Street, then moving into Radcliffe Square and negotiating around the camera, then turning left and passing down Brasenose Lane, turning left again at the junction at the end with Turl Street, down Turl Street and onto the High Street, followed by going up towards Carfax Tower, but turning right and down to the bottom of Cornmarket Street. As we pass down Cat Street and into Radcliffe Square, we are first greeted by the surprise of the grand vista caused by the Radcliffe camera acting as a visually intense incident that instantly creates both a landmark and a sense of place, an icon of Oxford. Moreover, the rotunda acts as a continuous deflection around the square onto the facades and vistas that surround and enclose it. The creation of here-ness and there-ness through the different floor textures and the capture of what suddenly feels like private space via the railings makes even long-term residents of Oxford feel like tourists here. Moving on from Radcliffe Square, we enter into the contrastingly narrow and enclosed Brasenose Lane, full ground floor windows creating inactive edges and inducing a feeling of keep out and protectiveness of Brasenose College that lies just behind. The change in pavement textures and levels are the only real visual stimulation along this part of the route. This changes quickly upon reaching the end of Brasenose Lane, whereby the junction with Market Street and Turl Street becomes a node of mainly pedestrian activity. Now from this point on Turl Street there appears to be a closed vista in the background, caused by the incident of the church steeple along the skyline, though as we near closer it reveals itself to be a deflection down the quiet, intimate and narrowing remainder of Turl Street, building the anticipation of exiting onto the much busier, wider and noisier High Street. While passing down this part of the route, it can be observed that the contrast of the two architectural styles and the materials used for the facades, plus the change in textures of the pavement, all add to the visual enjoyment of the richness of the relationship between the layers of ground level, facades and the infinite skyline visible behind the roofline. Moving on to Cornmarket Street, we can first observe an immediate change in intended use. The width, amount of street furniture and the existence of generic chain store units indicate that this is a modern, heavily commercial and transient space. However, moving up the facades and onto the original building facades above these units, we are informed of a different story and the richer history of the street. The juxtaposition of the different architectural styles, the intricacy and the collective effect of the recession and projection along the heterogeneous frontages creates intrigue about what was here before. To the north end of the street, the drama of the marriage of the large Debenhams department store vis-a-vis with Waterstones acts as a powerful deflection at that junction into George Street and Broad Street, both of great significance to the Oxford city centre. To conclude, having reached the end of the route, it is clear that this route of Oxford certainly exhibits an inherent sense of place, which feels to me like a sense of safety, an appreciation of history and architecture, cleanliness, a passionate belief in intricacy and layering over time.